I don't want to extemporize this too much, but I want to get started by asking a question. How many of you have heard of the show, Kids Say the Darndest Things? Okay, so most of the people in this room have heard of that show. It's a very funny show where kids get up on the stage and the host asks them a lot of questions and basically just lets them go. And it's quite hilarious. Well, today I'd like to do my version of it, and it's elderly couples do the darndest things. So I've got a couple of stories to tell. The first one is there's a man who worked all of his life, saved all of his money. He was a real miser when it came to his money. He loved money more than just about anything, and before he died, he had his wife make a promise to him. He said, "Now when I die, you are going to bury all of my money with me in the casket." And the next few days, the next few weeks, he made her promise. Well, she got to this point where she promised with all of her heart that when he passed away, that she would put all of his money in the casket with him. Well, one day, he passed away. He was stretched out in the casket, and his wife was sitting there in her black next to her best friend. And when they finished the ceremony, just before the undertaker was getting ready to close the casket, she stood up and she said, wait a minute. She pulled out a shoebox. She put it into the casket. The undertaker then closes the casket and rolls the casket away. Her friend said, "I hope you weren't crazy enough to put all of his money in there with him." She said, "Yes, I did. I made a promise to him, and I'm a good Christian, and I follow through with my promises. I wasn't going to close that casket with all of his money in that casket." "You mean to tell me that you put every cent of his money in that casket?" She said, "I sure did. I got all of his money together, I put it into my account, and I wrote him a check." The second story comes from a couple who were living in Phoenix at the time. They had moved to Phoenix after they had retired. This elderly man from Phoenix calls his son in New York, and he says, "Son, I hate to ruin your day, but I have to tell you that after 45 years of misery, your mother and I are getting a divorce." "Pop, what are you talking about?" his son said incredulously. "We can't stand the sight of each other any longer," the old man says. "We're sick of each other, and I'm sick of living with her after these 45 years. You call your sister in Chicago. You tell her because I don't want to call her." Frantic, the son calls his sister in Chicago. They're not getting divorced if I have anything to do with it," shouts his sister. "I'll take care of this." She calls Phoenix immediately. She screams at her old man, "You're not getting divorced. Don't do a single thing until I get there. I'm calling my brother back, and we're both coming there tomorrow. Until then, don't do a thing. Do you hear me?" And she hangs up the phone. The old man hangs up the phone on his side. He turns to his wife. He says, "Okay, they're coming for Thanksgiving, but what do we do about Christmas?"